Hello. So I'm just going to continue from a point that I had made in a previous video, which was I was talking about how not to minimize people's little accomplishments, and especially when they like to talk about them a lot, and that even in talking about them a lot, you're allowed to say, this isn't something that I particularly want to talk about. It's just how you express that. For example, like someone talks a little too much about how many days it's been since their last drink, and then you kind of just remind them to do it, not just talk about it. So that was one of the things that I had mentioned previously, and I wanted to go into that honesty because I think that honesty is also important to the person that's healing. Um, and that honesty includes not doing things out of pity, or doing things because you feel like you have to. So if you feel like you have to listen to somebody, that's not helping them either. Um, if you feel like you have to do something for someone because you know that they're in a tough spot, then that's not helping anybody because in the end you're wasting everybody's time. Um, I feel like, for example, if I ask someone a favor, if I ask somebody, can you spare $100 for groceries? It's hypothetical, but if I ask somebody that and they tell me, sure, okay, yeah, and they know that the situation my life is in, it's in transition. I'm finally getting somewhere in my life, but it's still in transition, and they look at their bank account and they see that there's not really the $100 isn't there. They're going to try to make the $100 work, and then I've been now counting on this $100, and then it doesn't materialize because in the end they go, oh well, all I could give you is 25. What is 25 going to help me? If I'm asking for 100 for groceries. But my point is that I'm not asking anyone for that. My point is that what a waste of time that was. That your pity for me was more important than your honesty in saying, I just really don't have it right now. And then I could go, okay, and see if there's somewhere else I can go for help, or see if there's something else I can do, if I can minimize spending for this particular grocery cycle. Like there's other things I could be doing than waiting to see if you're going to keep your word. Um, and I think my point is, and that also goes along with being an ear for someone. If it's something that's too much for you, if you've heard enough of it, of course we don't want you to turn around and be like, oh my god, you're annoying, leave me alone. Um, but practice positive ways to be like, okay, you've shared everything that you've shared. How can you put that into practice somewhere else in your life? Like, why don't you keep a journal? Or why don't you make videos online? Or why don't you do other things that, like, keep a blog? Making positive um, things, making positive suggestions rather than just being like, ugh, I'm so sick of hearing it. Um, Honesty and not pity. People like me don't want your pity. Um, we want support and love, and sometimes support and love can come in the form of just being an ear, or even just being a hug, or being that one suggestion of, okay, maybe, like that one suggestion of, Alyssa, you should go to therapy, and you know what I did, and it changed my life. Like that is what we're looking for. It's not everything, plus whatever. Yeah, I don't need you to fulfill a favor if you really can't do it. I don't need anybody's pity. That's not really helping anybody. So that's what I wanted to talk about briefly today. I am currently working on a new book, and I've worked on a lot of books, but like I said, this is the book I've got a lot of material from a previous attempt at a memoir, and I'm going to refocus a lot of that material, and I'm hoping that this is the book, because I think it's a lot of things that need to be said and touched upon and shared, just like I feel a lot of things need to be shared here on video. So that's what I wanted to say. My poetry books are still available on Lulu and Amazon. Just look up Alyssa Catapano, since that's my name now. Yeah, I'll talk to everybody soon, and I hope that all made sense, as usual.